Howdy, howdy, and welcome to another Trash Take. So, unfortunately, there's been another radical leftist terrorist attack on an ICE facility in Texas this time. And the dude is a confirmed communist and leftist, and he killed 2 illegal immigrants. And MSNBC, yet again, has their best and brightest on the case, immediately trying to justify the attack. So, let me get a little bit of background before I dive directly into this. But today, a Texas ICE facility had a sharpshooter on a roof that opened fire onto an ICE van. Now, from what's being reported immediately, the van was a blackout van, so they couldn't see who was inside the van. And they shot and killed 2 illegal immigrants. That's right. You had a radical left-wing extremist who tried to target ICE, been cited by the rhetoric he's seeing online, accidentally killed 2 illegal immigrants because he's a fucking retard, like all of these shooters are. They are absolute fucking retards every single time. And the best part is, Gavin Newsom made a call to violence against ICE yesterday, calling them authoritarian fascists or something similar. I'm going to pull that up in a second, though. But before we do into that, I'm going to dive more into about who this individual was. So his picture's already going around. His name's John Joshua, basically, and they found he was a registered Democrat voter and voted in the Democrat primary in Texas. Not a registered Democrat voter. In Texas, you can vote in either or. Apparently, he voted in the Democrat primary in 2020, so they're trying to use that for his political affiliation. He also had a Facebook page that was completely scrubbed of all of his Communist Manifesto bullshit because all of these retards are communists, which is a very big commonality among them, because in order to be a communist in today's modern society, you have to be a brain-dead fucking retard. So, it makes sense. This is his Facebook profile picture before it was scrubbed. He was a technical department manager. Then his profile picture is of a communist Giga Chad. So, this is who everyone is saying the shooter is right now. This could change. This is not doxing. This is publicly available information before someone says this is doxing. This is publicly available. They have scrubbed this Facebook page, though. So this is MSNBC reporting on the shooting, by the way. Listen to what they have to say. Listen to the insightful commentary by this reporter.
Shooter had a perceived injustice, and that may very well be the over-aggressive tactics used by ICE, the xenophobia that we've seen in recent years throughout the United States, and just or the deployment of federal troops to cities around the country. You will see more violence building from the left. I'll just kind of reflecting back to the 60s.
Yeah, he's immediately justifying the violence and blaming the Trump administration for them enforcing the fucking law. That is what they are doing. This news reporter needs to be fired. The guy who made fun of Charlie Kirk when he got shot saying it could be a Republican in the stand that shot off, that was also MSNBC from what I remember. That guy got fired. This guy needs to be fired as well. You are making justifications and blaming the Trump administration for some crazy dude opening fire on a random van. Fucking wild. But here's the best part, is they found, Kash Patel has posted on Twitter that the FBI found that his ammunition had anti-ICE written on it as well. And you automatically have people saying, that could mean anything, because you're dealing with disingenuous retards who are leftists of variety. They're not as radical as some of these leftists, but you have to understand there are Democrats or people on the left end of the spectrum that are refusing to condemn the political violence and will do everything in their power to completely water it down. They will ignore obvious facts of the case that Democrats' rhetoric right now has been never really stronger. Every single time Trump takes the stage, they call him a fascist. Kamala Harris called him a communist dictator, and then in the same sentence threw her vote in for the communist retard in New York for mayor. Like, these people are purposely using these as insults and then immediately ignoring actual cases. And you have an immediate tweet from Asmongold on Kash Patel as well, saying, this is the part where I, once again, beg you guys to start looking into the online investigation, prosecuting the people openly calling for violence. So many people get radicalized by this rhetoric and end up doing something horrible. You're the FBI director, start acting like it, which is entirely true. I'm glad Kash Patel is being extremely open because the news is doing everything in their power to ignore this and spin this, and he's immediately pointing it out, saying, before we start saying who could this guy's affiliations be, there's only one party in America that's anti-ICE, and they're the really far left ones who ignore the fact that that ICE is deporting murderers, rapists, and robbers. Like, it's pretty clear who ICE targets for the most part. This is Benny Johnson, who I played his video of the FCC chairman, and he's basically summarized the violence in the past few weeks. And tell me what the commonality is. I really want you guys to tell me that the right wing has a problem. Charlie Kirk assassinated by a leftist. ICE facilities in Dallas and Fort Worth shot up. Yep, more than one. ABC station in Sacramento shot up by DNC megadonor. I've covered that as well. Bomb planted on Fox New Van. I mentioned it. Bomb threat at RFK Jr.'s house. That just sounds like a dime a dozen. Thousands of leftists openly celebrating Charlie Kirk's death, with more people calling to violence as well. Massive Charlie Kirk memorial vandalized and destroyed in Arizona. True. Students at Texas Tech and Texas State assaulted and threatened Kirk supporters. Yeah, there's a video of a guy who was on a college campus and like he had to get escorted off the campus by police because a group of people were coming in there and threatened to kill him straight to his face. And there wasn't enough police to stop them. It was a mob against like 2 people and they had to fucking run. It was crazy. Democrat pedophile George Zinn falsely claimed to be the Kirk shooter, helping the assassin escape, which entirely happened. When Charlie Kirk got killed, some crazy old man in the audience had an air gun and acted like he did and was begging the police to shoot him. Turns out he had CASM on his computer and was arrested by the police for it because they were investigating everything about him because they at first police believed this was the shooter before they realized it wasn't. How do you have someone assassinate Charlie Kirk and then another radical leftist in the crowd immediately start screaming it's him to try to take the blame for it? That's fucking crazy. And then you have the trans radical who murdered Catholic children. This is the most recent one with the shooting of 2 people. They were trans. Their political ideology was literally all across the spectrum, though. They said some crazy shit for both sides. This one was extreme case of mental illness where they might have been a leftist, but that toward the end, they went so far off the political compass, they started looping back around and going in full fucking circles. Left-wing violence is out of control. It will get worse, and it won't stop until it's taken seriously. Enough is enough, which is entirely true. Gavin Newsom went on Stephen Colbert last night. Let's see if his rhetoric is toned down any or if he's still going full throttle.
That's happening in the United States of America. Masked men jumping out of unmarked cars, people disappearing.
Notice his language. He is actually causing ICE to be assaulted. ICE assaults are up 1,000%. He is purposely painting ICE to be some sort of villain Gestapo when they aren't. They're deporting people that are criminals from America. They use crime databases to find these motherfuckers. They're coming out in full masks because you have people that are openly threatening to kill them. They're being doxxed by leftists everywhere. Yes, they're in fucking masks. Yes, they're dropping out of vans, but they wear gear that says ICE. They're wearing badges that show that they're ICE once they start arresting people to let everyone else know this is an official police or the official federal activity. This isn't people disappearing, they're being deported. There's a difference. His language here is very specific, and the leftists and the Democrats do this all the fucking time to completely try to frame a subject entirely different. Listen to his words. That is how he lies.
No due process.
No due process is an entire fucking lie. In order to be deported, you have to go in front of a judge. He has to sign your final deportation. ICE doesn't just pick you up and throw you in the fucking ocean. They don't just pick you up and throw you on a plane to a random fucking place. They get a judge to look at your case and decide whether or not you need to be in the country based on who you are and what you've done, and they make the decision. This is completely ignored by Democrats, and they do it purposely so they can cause more political violence because they don't want their future voters deported.
No oversight, zero accountability happening in the United States of
Zero accountability. Source, I just made it the fuck up.
America today. People ask, well, is authoritarianism, you're being hyperbolic? Bull, we're being hyperbolic. If you're a black and brown community, it's here.
That's right. He's telling the black and brown community they're currently under attack by authoritarian state and it's being enforced via ICE. Are you seriously going to tell me like this isn't causing an issue? Are you seriously going to tell me this rhetoric isn't causing the issue? This happened last night. The facility got shot up today. They aren't turning down the rhetoric and they never will. They don't want to turn down the rhetoric. They want you to bend over backwards with your belly shown so they can shoot you in the fucking face because that is what they are doing. They're doing everything in their power to keep the violence up because it's not Democrats. It's not Republicans that are, it's not Democrats that are being killed. It's Republicans. That's the harsh truth. Except today, the leftist was so fucking retarded he shot in a blackout van and killed 2 illegal immigrants on accident and then killed himself. Thank fucking God. You know, honestly, I'd rather get him to get the death penalty in Texas. Greg Abbott would have probably found some new way that isn't too cruel to execute the death penalty.
In this country. And so
Do you notice how he says that and the crowd claps too? Do you guys notice this rhetoric? The people openly cheering this too? When they're saying Trump needs to turn down the rhetoric and then they're going out and calling ICE an authoritarian arm of the state for deporting illegal immigrants, for deporting criminals, rapists, murderers, robbers, does that make sense to y'all for it to be clapping? No, it fucking doesn't.
I'm deeply proud that I had the privilege of signing the nation's first bill.
Oh yes, Gavin Newsom decided to sign a bill forcing the federal government to demask all agents because apparently the states now have control over what the federal government does. Mind you, we went to a civil war over the last time a state tried to tell the federal government what to do. And now you have Gavin Newsom. Absolutely a fucking retard. You want to talk about people fostering hate and trying to start a civil war? It's not right-wingers. In America, Republicans have done so well to quell the far right and to immediately outcast them as radical extremists like they should have been. When Charlie Kirk was killed, how many Democrats openly acknowledged the violent calls that were coming from fellow Democrats and from extreme leftists? Only a few. I can only literally think of one. Shoe on head. That's it. Everyone else just said, we need peace. That's it. Or they said, I might not agree with Kirk, but he didn't deserve to die. They use qualifiers to dismiss it, so their audience themselves would not kill them because they understand that their audience is the problem. They don't want to admit it because it's their voter base, and they don't want to be outs because they want their political power. Because that is the easiest way to get rich in America, is to be a politician and then immediately start insider trading. Look at every fucking congressman. It's not just the right. It's not just Republicans. It's Democrats too. I know Nancy Pelosi gets a lot of shit, but if you look at the leaderboard, there's like 3 Republicans above her. She's just one of the more prominent ones. But this is the rhetoric they do not turn down, and they will still say, calls to violence are never acceptable, guys, and then immediately go on a talk show host like this and say some crazy fucking shit to encourage more violence against ICE agents.
To address the issue of masking, also to require you have simple identification.
Yes, and they do. They wear vests. They have badges. Yes, anyone can buy a vest. Anyone can put on a badge. That's a fucking felony to impersonate federal officers, you fucking retards. I get in arguments with the people on Twitter like this because there are people that are either 80 IQ or just want to be so obtuse. Anyone can put on a thing that says ICE. If you are wearing a police vest that says ICE, that is a felony if you're not an ICE agent. Yes, you trust them that they are ICE because if they aren't ICE, they're going to jail for like 20 fucking years for impersonating a federal officer. That's not a light crime. And that's the reason why there are standards in place to where you have to trust that they are who they say they are.
To your point, I mean, if some guy jumped out of an unmarked car in a van with a mask on, tried to grab me,
yes, they jump out of the van and then they scream, ICE, ICE, ICE. They identify themselves to let you know they are a federal agent, and then they grab people that they are waiting for because they know who they're going for. It's a mission. They've been briefed. They have pictures of the individual. They know what his most recent location is and what he looks like, and they're jumping out of the van to grab him and then to let everyone else know around this is a federal sanctioned activity. That's what happens. This is the reality. Pull your head out of your fucking ass if you're a leftist that doesn't see a problem with this because you're the political terrorist in America.
I mean, by definition, you're going to push back. And so these are not just authoritarian tendencies. These are authoritarian actions by an authoritarian government.
Right there. Authoritarian actions by an authoritarian government. Guys, are we turning down the political rhetoric? No. We're calling Donald Trump an authoritarian based solely on the fact that he has control of the borders and he's deporting people that don't belong to this country. Authoritarian, fascist, Nazi. They're all synonyms for bad guy because that's all these people are intended. They are marking you as a target to be killed. And this rhetoric will not stop until these people are held accountable. And accountability in this case is not him going to jail. It's him being removed from political office and shunned from society because this shit needs to stop, and this is the only way it's going to stop.
You saw what Stephen Miller said last week. This should put chills up fine. Called the Democratic Party an extremist organization, basically a terrorist organization.
And you just called Trump a Nazi, a synonym for a Nazi. What is the issue here? The Democrat Party is becoming a terrorist party because you refuse to out your extremists and you shift further and further left to where normal people have already left. You have RFK and Tulsi Gabbard that have jumped ship. You have Shoe on Head who have jumped ship. You have a lot of people that are so socially Democrat, but they don't want to be associated with the Democrats because they're basically fucking communists at this point. They are so far left that it makes no sense for them to even be considered an American party. They aren't the party of democracy. They're the party of communism now. That's how bad it's gotten. The people that have a brain don't want to be associated with modern Democrats because they're fucking radicals. They're fucking crazy. And the most radical extremists among them shoot and kill people, and the others openly cheer. And then the Democrats that are supposed to be moderates just say, let's tone down the violence, and completely ignore the cheers, and completely ignore the calls to violence. And then you go on TV and you call Trump an authoritarian and ICE an authoritarian action. And now ICE facility gets shot up again. And yes, you can quote the fake ADL statistics of all the mass shootings and all the political violence being right-wingers. I've seen it. It's been debunked like 30 fucking times because of them cherry-picking data. It's called lying with statistics. I know I have to keep explaining this, but people are purposely cherry-picking data when it comes to radical extremism and excluding certain things that are pretty fucking clear to be radical extremists, or taking someone that maybe isn't the real person but tweeting, oh, I'm a right-winger. Oh, well, they assaulted a politician who was a Republican as dressed as an Antifa member, but clearly they're a right-winger. Like, this shit's crazy. This shit's crazy. It's like 20-0 on the board right now with a few unsure in between on who they are on terrorist attacks. You have the 2 Democratic senators that died from a Democratic voter who wrote a letter saying, I'm doing this for Tim Walz, who voted for Democrat, who donated to Act Blue. And I'm getting told that guy's a right-winger. Like, this is the kind of political nonsense I'm hearing because there's so much misinformation because the news has people like this on who are just openly retarded and openly spread propaganda. Yes, him saying ICE is disappearing people is propaganda. 100%. They don't disappear anyone. There is full accountability. You might not know because you're not in the fucking government and you as a random citizen don't just get to demand where someone's going. You fellow ICE officer, I demand to know where you're taking this civilian. I have the full authority over you to know where he's going. That's not how it fucking works. Pull your head out of your ass. What the fuck is happening in America?
Saying he's going after his enemies. You saw the tweet that Donald Trump sent out, Truth Social, basically telling Pam Bondi, I want these 3 people taken out. That's happening in the United States.
Donald Trump's tweets on Truth Social are shit posts at best. Him telling people he wants them removed or brought up on charges is probably because they're inciting violence. I don't know the specific quote that Gavin Newsom's talking about here, but for him to say Trump's the problem after he's used the first whole minute to talk about how bad ICE is and how they're authoritarian, and if you're brown or black, you should be scared and fearful and fighting back. Yeah, please, cry me a fucking river. By the way, this is just the video. His name is Nick Shirley. He's the one that got assaulted on the campus and basically had to flee for his life because these people were unfucking hinged and were actively trying to kill him. He had to get a police escort to get out of there. They were doing some crazy shit to him. This is one people. There's another. This is a picture of the shooter, by the way. This Twitter account made a funny post of be a libtard, go to an ICE facility to shoot chuds, end up shooting immigrants and then yourself because he shot into an unmarked ICE van. And you have people like NBC News spreading fake news, by the way. NBC posted this thing. ICE agents held a 5-year-old autistic girl outside her Massachusetts home to pressure her father to surrender to authorities last week, according to the girl's family. And you have Ilhan Omar, whatever the fuck you say this lady's name, who apparently married her brother. Her her marriage license got leaked online or some shit like that. She married her fucking brother for citizenship. Anyways, not the point. This was debunked. This was a complete fucking lie. And NBC issued a retraction. What does a retraction do exactly? Oh, it does jack fucking shit because it's already radicalized people who aren't going to look for a retraction. These articles are written purposely like this to incite violence, to incite fear. It is propaganda from main news sources, from mainstream media. I'm tired of the political violence in America, but it's coming from the left extremists in America and openly ignoring it and acting like it's happening on both sides, guys. It's not just the left. It's fucking stupid. The left needs to acknowledge this. They need to outcast these radicals. The issue is it's politically captured a vast majority of their voters, and that's why they're not doing it. Plain and fucking simple. They keep wanting to be re-elected into positions of power, and they're willing to get you killed to do so. This is the party of violence. This is the modern day Democrats. I don't understand how anyone with a brain can see these assassination, assault. I don't see how anyone with a brain can see attack after attack after attack and really think, you know what, this is a both sides need to come together moment. No, this is one side that is actively killing people on the right. And it's gonna lead to worse when the right actually starts fighting back. And I don't want that to happen. I don't want to see America break into a civil war. But when you have retards like Gavin Newsom going on news the night before a shooting, they're like, he can't predict this, but it's clear he's not turning down his rhetoric. In fact, he's kicking it up a notch. And he's saying the same shit they're all saying. And now you have acts of political violence immediately happening. After he spent last night spreading propaganda. If you can't point the finger at someone for an obvious cause and effect, I don't know what to fucking tell you. You have basic cognitive decline. Your parents took too much Tylenol while you were pregnant. Your mom. Or sorry, birthing person. If you're a leftist, you don't have a mother. You have a birthing person now. You're probably buying to that bullshit. Just to let you know how recent it was. This is Gavin Newsom posting on his personal Twitter account about him on the Colbert Show last night. So this is recent. The context behind this shit matters greatly. To act like this is happening out of nowhere, you have your head up your ass and you're doing it intentionally, and I'm fucking tired of it. Kash Patel needs to definitely start cracking down on Reddit as well. I previously mentioned this account before on Twitter, Reddit Lies, and they're talking about how Redditors have been openly calling for ICE to be killed. These are posts after posts after posts of Reddit accounts openly calling for ICE agents to be killed. I've said this before and I'll say it again. The only people that commit terrorist acts against the only people that commit terrorist attacks and political violence are retarded bitches. They are mentally ill morons. They are convinced by social media to go do an act of terrorism because they cannot articulate their ideas, and they fell for blatant propaganda. They're falling in a massive echo chamber where everyone around them says the world's going to end, so you might as well just kill Trump. And that's what they're saying. The world's ending, so you might as well kill ICE agents. So that's what someone goes and does. And now we have people that died, illegal aliens that should have been deported back to their country that are now dead because a radical leftist decided to take matters in his own hands because he's a fucking retard. Rest in piss, you won't be missed. The violence will not stop till Democrats fix their rhetoric, not the other way around. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you like the video, feel free to like it, comment down below, or subscribe. Let me know what you guys think. This is absolutely crazy. We have another terrorist attack. We had the ABC shooting last week, or we had the ABC shooting a few days ago, where then he was released back on the street by a California judge. By the way, I didn't make a video about it, but the FBI actually raided that guy's house and found that he was planning more terrorist attacks. And he was released on a $200,000 bail, but he's been picked up since then. Yeah, a judge let a political terrorist back on the street who turns out was planning more political violence. Thank fucking God Cash actually did something. But Cash needs to step up, start arresting these motherfuckers. I need to start seeing these people arrested. There's too many mentally ill people that openly call for violence in America and openly cheer for political violence, and it is so fucking worrisome. It is crazy to me. These people need mental help. They are mentally ill, and they do not know it because they've been so brainwashed by the retards around them that they think that they're actually normal. That's the craziest part. Thank you very much for tuning in. Hopefully, I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, later.